Good evening, everybody. From Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, we bid you welcome to Reds baseball. The Reds and the Philadelphia Phillies meeting in the second game of this three-game series as the Reds try to make it 5 wins in their last 6 games. They'll be pitching right-hander Mario Soto, while the Phillies will counter with the ace of, well, the National League season, I guess you could say, 15-game winner Steve Carlton. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineup tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies, leading off at first base, Pete Rose. Batting second in left field, Greg Gross. Right fielder Beg McBride will bat third. Hitting fourth at third base, Mike Schmidt. Batting number 5 in center field, Gary Maddox. Hitting sixth at second base, Manny Trio. Bob Boone will catch in bat number 7. Hitting eighth at shortstop, Larry Boa. And batting ninth, the Philadelphia pitcher, left-hander Steve Carlton. Again for the Phillies, it's Rose at first base, Gross in left field, McBride in right field. Schmidt at third, Maddox in center field, Trio at second base. With Boone catching, Boa at short, and Carlton on the mound. For the Reds, center fielder Dave Collins will lead off. Batting second, shortstop Dave Concepcion. Ken Griffey, the right fielder, will bat third. Left fielder George Foster will hit number 4. Batting fifth and catching, Johnny Bench. Hitting number 6, the third baseman Ray Knight. Danny Dreesen will be at first base and bat 7. Hitting 8th, second baseman Junior Kennedy. And batting 9th, the Reds pitcher, right-hander Mario Soto. Once more for the Reds, it's Collins in center field, Concepcion at shortstop, Griffey in right field, Foster in left, Bench catching, Knight at third. With Dreesen at first, Kennedy at second, and Soto on the mound. Carlton making his 23rd start. He has 7 complete games, a .251 earned run average. He's been something. Dave Collins leads it off against him, and the pitch is in for a strike. Not a whole lot that Carlton has not been able to accomplish. In fact, as we said last night, barring the unforeseen, he has got a virtual lock on the Cy Young Award for 1980, the way he's been pitching. Collins bluffs a bunt, takes it low. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike, but no matter how great a pitcher might be, there always seems to be a club or clubs that he has particular problems with, and I think most people in that case would be hard-pressed to say exactly why. Carlton has had problems with the Reds in his career and also the New York Mets. Low and inside, 2-1 the count on Dave Collins. In fact, the Mets have beaten him 2 times this season. The Reds have gotten him once, and Montreal has the other one over Carlton. Collins batting .288. Swings and lines one down the right field line. That's going to drop in for a base hit. McBride cuts it off. Collins takes a turn. He's going to try to get 2 out of it, and he's got him. Dave Collins with a 2-base hit down the right field line to lead off the Cincinnati first inning for Collins' 9th double of the year. Here's shortstop Dave Concepcion. David checking in at .245 with 4 home runs and 45 RBIs. Left-hander kicks and he throws. Concepcion takes it in on him, a ball. Now the Phillies threatened in their half of the first inning but could not score as Soto struck out Schmidt and Maddox back-to-back to leave Gross and McBride stranded at third and second respectively. And now we got a double to lead it off by Collins in the bottom of the first. And Carlton falls behind a Concepcion at 2-0. Rose, Trio, Boa, and Schmidt. That's the inner defense for the Phils at first, second, short, and third. Gross, Maddox, and McBride from left to right in the outfield, and Boone catching. Strike is called to Concepcion, 2-1. Ken Griffey on deck for the Reds, who seek their 49th win of the season. Reds are 3 over 500. The Phillies are 5 over the 500 mark at 47 and 42. Pitch, swing and a miss. Carlton even up with Concepcion, 2-2. Collins takes the lead at second, draws a look from Carlton. Collins comes to third, pitch is swung on, bouncing ball slapped down the line, fielded by Mike Schmidt. Running throw in time. Collins had a good jump on Steve Carlton as Davey bounced a high, slow chop down the third baseline and is thrown out by Mike Schmidt.
Marty, that's an interesting play right there. Of course, the chopper, but had Davey got the ball down on the ground with a little something on it, Mike's headed for third to cover, and we've seen managers use a hit and run in that case. Sounds a little strange, but it's true. The run and hit, whatever you want to say, but takes that third baseman over, particularly with a pull hitter.
Well, with Collins at third, it's going to force the Philadelphia infield to pull in tight. Here's Ken Griffey. Kenny swings and he misses at a pitch up. Griffey this season against Carlton is 0 for 4. That hit for Collins, his third and 8 times up against Steve Carlton this season. So Griffey trying to get the first run of the night home. The pitch is swung on and missed, and 2 strikes a count on the Reds right fielder, batting .315. Kenny had a big opening game in this series, going 3 for 4. He had 2 singles, a double, scored a run. The only time they got him out was in the 8th inning on a fly ball to deep right center. He's been on quite a tear of late. Pitch, missing way outside, breaking ball low and away. Well, Kenny projecting himself back up among the hit leaders in the National League. Well, he's been swinging the bat the last few days. He strikes out swinging. Carlton made it look easy as Griffey did not see a fastball. Carlton gets his first strikeout on the 169th of the year for the left-hander, and that'll be George Foster with 2 outs. Foster batting .248. He's homered 15 times. He and Johnny Bench are the club leaders in that department and has driven in an even 50 runs. Talk about a guy who's been hot as a firecracker since the All-Star break. Has had 7 RBIs in his last 4 games and 19 in 14 games since the All-Star break. Two out, runner at third base, and Foster takes it downstairs. Carlton from the windup pours it home. Foster takes it inside, a ball, 2-0. Carlton has been touched for only 7 home runs and 172 in a third innings. There's not a whole lot that this guy has done wrong this season, I'll tell you. Ground ball in the hole at shortstop. Backhanded by Boa. Here's a throw, and it's in time. That's the inning. So for the Reds in the first, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Collins left at third after 1 complete. Reds nothing, Philadelphia nothing. Reds down a run as Johnny Bench leads off the second. Johnny hitting .274, 15 homers, and 41 RBI. Star of the game last night. Had a single and a double and knocked in 2, including the game-winning RBI. Carlton delivers, and Bench rips 1 to left field on the first pitch for a base hit. Well, so much has been made in the past about how well Johnny Bench hit Steve Carlton. Joe, does anybody have an answer for that?
Marty, John has hit him ever since he's been in the league, and Carlton's been in the league. And why? Who knows? Steve, I think, basically is a low ball pitcher, and I think John, you would say, is pretty much a low ball hitter, particularly that ball's over from the inside or the middle of the plate in.
Well, Bench leads off with a single to left field. Second hit for Cincinnati. Here's Ray Knight. And off-speed pitch misses for a ball. We made reference a couple of days ago to the very interesting story on Carlton. And last week, Sports Illustrated, Tim McCarver, who caught Steve for so many years before he announced his retirement at the end of last season, pretty much authored the story about Carlton. There's a call strike, and said Steve's preparation for a given start, he does not dwell on the hitters that he has trouble getting out. For instance, Johnny Bench, he won't spend too much time trying to figure out how he ought to pitch to Bench to try and cut down Johnny's productivity against him. He will spend most of his time thinking and dwelling on the other guys in the lineup, the ones that he normally has great success with. Swung on and hit hard by Mike Schmidt. Down the left field line. Johnny Bench takes a turn. He's coming to third. Ray Knight goes to second with his 29th double. Single by Bench, double into the left field corner by Ray Knight, and the Reds pose a major second inning threat against Carlton and the Phillies. Here's Danny Dreesen. Danny, a .276 batter with 11 homers and 47 RBIs. Carlton with a kick in the pitch, and Dreesen takes the ball high. Danny this year is 1 for 5 off of Carlton. Bench at third, Knight at second, nobody out. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, 1-1. Not too long ago, Carlton became the greatest left-handed strikeout pitcher in baseball history. Currently ranks 8th on the all-time list. He's low with a pitch to Dreesen, 2-1. Steve, with the strikeout of Griffey in the first inning, now has a career total of 2,852. Ferguson, Jenkins, and Jim Bunning are tied for 6th place with 2,855. Here's a high fly ball. Hit into left center field. Gary Maddox calling for it, makes the catch. Johnny Bench tags, and he's going to come onto the plate to tie it up. Maddox's throw went to third base. Gary with no chance at all of throwing Bench out at the plate, so his primary concern was to keep Ray Knight at second base. Johnny Bench, and I know you've heard us say it before, twice in his career has had a 3-home-run game against Steve Carlton. Takes a strike, and of course he earlier this season hit 3 out in one game at San Diego off Randy Jones. No balls and 1 strike on Bench. That's strike 2 call. Reds with only 3 hits, a double to lead off the first inning by Collins. Bench single, Knight double in the second, and that's been it. Bench checks his swing on a breaking pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bowling inside, 2-2. Well, the Mets and the Astros are tied up at 1-1 at the end of 2 innings of play down in Houston. Now the Mets have gone out in front with a run in the third. They lead the Astros 2-1. Bench grounds 1 to third base. There's Mike Schmidt. Came up throwing and safe at first base. The throw pull rose off the bag to the home plate side. He tried to swipe tag Johnny Bench going by, and that's going to be a throwing error on Mike Schmidt. Mike was a little bit tentative. Saw a lot of white in the webbing of his glove when he came up with that ball, and his throw took Rose to the home plate side of the bag. He tried to swipe Johnny going by and didn't make contact, and Ed Vargo called safe. Well, the first error of the night goes to Philadelphia third baseman Mike Schmidt to allow Johnny Bench a base. Here's Ray Knight. 1 for 2, a double, a strikeout. He swings and drives one into right center field. That's going to be a gapper. Ball goes to the wall. Big McBride after it. Johnny Bench being brought around third base by Russ Nixon. Here's the throw to the plate. Cut off. 3-base hit by Ray Knight. Reds lead 2-1. Ray Knight driving one into the gap in right center field. Scoring Johnny Bench from first base. Ray gets his 59th RBI, but more important, the Reds lead by 1. So Mr. Knight having a big night at Steve Carlton's expense, a double and now a triple. And that runner over at third base would be a big run if we can get him in. Danny Dreesen at the plate. He's had a sacrifice fly to get the first run home. He takes a strike. Philly infield pulled in. Now time call as Carlton came set. Plate umpire Davidson throws his hands up. Danny apparently getting something in his eye. Now the stretch and now the pitch. Ground ball, base hit into left field. Ray Knight in, 3-1 Cincinnati. So the throwing error by Mike Schmidt has opened the gates for 2 Cincinnati runs. Reds lead by a pair, 1 away in the inning. The batter, second baseman Junior Kennedy. 0 for 1 with a walk. Cincinnati with his second run batted in and his 49th of the season. Carlton brings it on up there, and he misses with a high fastball. Short lead by Dreesen at first, and he'll step quickly back into the bag as Carlton throws that way. Pause in the pitch. Kennedy swings and drives one into center field. Gary Maddox drifting back fairly deep, but he makes a catch. 2 out. Don't forget to stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you and purchase your Reds tickets in advance in Hamilton at Clark Sporting Goods, in Lima, and Springfield at Sears, in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Hartzler Sports Shop, and in Huntington, West Virginia at Southside Pharmacy. So Mario Soto steps in with 2 runs home, 2 men out. Danny Dreesen at first base. Soto takes it up and away. Carlin struck him out in the second. Soto put down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. Swing and a miss. Now we might possibly get some activity going in the Philadelphia bullpen. Carlton is the second batter up in the 7th. There is strike 2 call. Tug McGraw will start to loosen up. Soto sends it in the air to shallow right field. That's going to be second baseman Trio's ball to play, and he does to wrap up the inning. But the Reds get 2 runs on 2 hits, an error with 1 left. We've completed 6, and Cincinnati leads the Phillies 3-1. Well, we're in the top half of the 9th inning. Mario Soto trying to get his first complete game of the year in and square his record at 4. And it'll be Del Unser to bat for Tug McGraw. Ron Reed, the right-hander, going down to the Phillies bullpen to start loosening up in the event the Phillies get 1 or more and force this game into the bottom half of the 9th. They're in the top of the 9th inning in St. Louis, where the Cardinals continue to lead the Dodgers by a score of 3-2. Del Unser, .255 batting average, no home runs, 5 RBIs, 6 for 20 as a pinch hitter with 3 runs knocked in. Soto collecting himself on the mound, now checks with bench. And the pitch to Unser. That is taken for a strike on the outside corner. Unser checking his swing on a breaking ball low and inside. 1-1. Doug Bear and Dave Tomlin are heating up in the Cincinnati bullpen. One pitch on the way, and Unser swings and misses on that high changeup. He was way out in front. And the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball, left center field. Foster got it. George picked that baby off ankle high, a seeking line drive that was hooking back into him. So Unser, a mighty important first out as a leadoff batter, and now it'll be Pete Rose. Rose is 0 for 3 with a walk, and he has scored a run. Well, the Reds Tampa Farm Club comes up with a gem tonight. The Tarpons defeat St. Petersburg 3-0 and a one-hitter. St. Petersburg gets 1 hit in the game. Rose takes it outside. Pete takes a strike. Ray Knight about even with a bag and guarding the line at third base. Dreesen deep and doing the same thing at first. Defense spread out for Mr. Rose. He bounces one by the mound. Concepcion charges. He's got it. He throws. He got it. 2 out. A high slow bouncer, and Davey unloaded right now, I'll tell you. So the Phillies down to their final out. The batter will be Greg Gross. Gross has walked, fly to left twice, and single to center field. Fastball is up, ball one. This one has been a nail-biter tonight. 3-2 Cincinnati with 2 outs and the bases empty in the Phillies' ninth. Gross looks at a strike. Big McBride, who's had 3 hits, is on deck. Soto would just as soon end it right here. His 1-1 to the plate. Gross grounds it up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Now, the Phillies are not done yet. As Gross grounds one into center, that's the 9th base hit for Dallas Green's club, and that'll give Big McBride a chance for a 4-hit night. McBride has singled, triple, fly to right, and his base hit that just eluded Danny Dreesen in the 7th inning to get the last Philadelphia run in. Now it looks like we're going to get a runner at first base for Greg Gross. Lonnie Smith, who has outstanding speed, has now gotten the helmet on and makes his way between the plate and the mound toward first base. So Dallas Green gets a little bit of speed out there. Not a little bit, but a whole lot. In the event that McBride should drive one in the alley or down the line for extra bases, they've got a shot with great speed and Lonnie Smith at tying the ball game up.
Running for Gross.
Oh, Mario Soto having to bow his back one more time. He pitches to McBride, and it's swung on. Fly ball center field, Mejias, and this one belongs to the Reds. In the 9th inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Super pitching performance by Mario Soto as the Reds defeat the Phillies 3-2. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we had another good one tonight against the Philadelphia Phillies, but as we pointed out so many times in the past, that is normally the case when these two clubs get together. Mario Soto, Steve Carlton, of course, Carlton having just a monster year in 1980. He came in tonight seeking his 16th victory of the season. Instead, he came away with his 5th loss in his 2nd of 1980 against the Reds. The Phillies got the scoring underway in the 2nd inning with 1 out. Bob Boone hit a home run over the left field fence off Soto, his 6th of the year, but the Reds came back in the bottom of the 2nd to tie it up. Johnny Bench had a single to left. Ray Knight doubled into the left field corner, and Danny Dreesen brought the tie and run in with a sacrifice fly to center field. It remained a 1-1 deadlock as the Reds came to bat in the bottom half of the 6th inning. After 1 out, Johnny Bench hit a ground ball to third base, and Mike Schmidt charged with a throwing error as he pulled Pete Rose off the bag with a throw to first base. Bench was on with 1 out. Ray Knight was at the plate and earlier had that 2-base hit to set up the tying run in the 2nd. He was up now with Bench at first, and the tying run, rather the go-ahead run at first base in the person of Johnny Bench, and here's what happened. He swings and drives one into right center field. That's going to be a gapper. Ball goes to the wall. Big McBride after it. Johnny Bench being brought around third base by Russ Nixon. Here's the throw to the plate. Cut off. 3-base hit by Ray Knight. Reds lead 2-1. Danny Dreesen stepped up then against a drawn-in Philadelphia infield and bounced one by third baseman Mike Schmidt for a single to left field, getting Knight home. And the Reds were out in front by 2 runs and has turned out in front to stay. Carlton was lifted for a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, and that was the frame in which the Phillies scored their final run. It came with 2 down when Rose drew a base on balls. Gross single to center, and McBride brought Pete home with a base hit to right field to make it 3-2. Tug McGraw worked the last 2 innings for Philadelphia, got out of trouble in the 7th inning by throwing a double play ball to George Foster, and Junior Kennedy lined into a double play with 2 on and 1 out in the 8th inning. The Phillies got a base runner in the 8th with 2 down. Boone walked, but Boa popped to second. In the 9th inning with 2 out, it was a single to center field by Greg Gross. Lonnie Smith came on to run for him, but McBride ended the game when he lined out to Sam Mejias in center field. Mario Soto continued his fine pitching. He went the distance tonight for the first time this season in now 5 starts, and for Soto, his first complete game since he had 2 of them back in 1977, one in which he defeated defeated the Chicago Cubs 6-2, and the other complete game effort that year was a 6-0 shutout win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. In winning, Soto brings his record to 4-4. Carlton in losing is now 15-5, and as we pointed out earlier tonight, Steve is one of 3 pitchers in the major leagues to have won 15 games this season, the only in the National League. The American League 15-game winner, Steve Stone, who beat Minnesota for number 15 last night, and Tommy John, who got that 15th win with a shutout against Milwaukee earlier tonight. The numbers in the game for the Reds: 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 8 left. The Phillies: 2 runs, 9 hits with an error. They stranded 10. So the final game of this series coming up at 8:05 tomorrow night as the Reds try to get the sweeper out. Behind the pitching of rookie right-hander Bruce Pereni, he'll be after his second big league win. And the Phillies will go with a former New York Met, right-hander Nino Espinosa, who's won a game and lost a game since coming off the disabled list. We'll be along with the pregame shows at 7:35 Cincinnati time on most of these same stations. Again, the final score tonight in a game that took 2 hours and 36 minutes to play before a crowd of 31,257. The Reds 3 and the Phillies 2.